For decades, Liberace was a larger-than-life entertainer, a feast for the eyes and the ears. His oversized name on local hotel marquees was surpassed by his flamboyant wardrobe, gaudy performances, candelabras, and of course, his mansion, a grand manor built on 2 lots a couple miles east of the Strip. Naturally, Mr. Showmanship's bubbly offstage existence was an exercise in excess, and his regal residence truly reflected his keyboard skills and audacious lifestyle. The Liberace Mansion is where the legendary pianist, singer, and actor lived from the early 1970s until his death in 1987. Now Martin Ravenhill tickles the keys at the mansion.
He was very fond of himself, and I think that that's why there are so many mirrors.
The British businessman and unabashed Liberace booster saw a chance to keep alive the Liberace legacy.
I kind of had a sense of duty. I jumped on a plane. I was here the next morning.
So he bought the bankrupt property 3 years ago for $500,000.
Originally I was quoted, they say, oh, well, you're going to need another 80,000 in repairs. Not so. I'm up to close to 2 million now, so it's, luckily I have the stomach for it, luckily.
Mr. Ravenhill is beyond fond of this fixer-upper. His monetary investment is far exceeded by his sense of duty to restore the Liberace landmark to opulence and originality. From the eternal Hall of Mirrors, to the 2-century-old marble columns from Greece that Liberace had lowered in by helicopter, and the great man's spiral staircase imported from France.
You're going to see more pictures of himself looking down. Now this is the famous $350,000 marble bathtub which featured in virtually all of his shows. And you'd see the bubbles, he had a piano pressed against the side and he'd be playing it.
So I would move to accept this per plans with the proposed conditions.
The Board of County Commissioners bestowed the Liberace Mansion with Clark County's first ever historic designation. This means this property will be preserved in its original condition and continue the Liberace legacy. Other iconic properties and neighborhoods are being considered as future historic designations in Clark County and must meet certain criteria to receive the honor. The property or neighborhood must be at least 40 years old, be associated with a well-known person in the community's history, or reflect Clark County's social, cultural, economic, or political past.
This was the first historical designation in Clark County, so we were really proud to have that in District G. And so that made it a very special case, the first of its kind.
Commissioner Mary Bescow worked with Mr. Ravenhill to secure the mansion's historical designation in District G and with neighbors to ensure noise and parking concerns are well orchestrated. She says the community is in harmony with allowing invited guests to attend organized events at the mansion.
The events have to be planned in advance and no tours. Somebody can't just show up to the house and take a tour. It all has to be prearranged. But the hours are set. I think it's 10 to 10 on weeknights and goes till 12:30 a.m. on weekends. So it's carefully done so that neighbors, and we haven't heard any complaints.
The idea is not to have people just wandering in and walking up and down. It's to have very well organized tutorial events, to have banquets, something which is available for ceremonies as well.
Mr. Ravenhill plans to allow guests to tour the restored living areas and host grand affairs in the event center, this cavernous area which was once Liberace's outdoor swimming pool.
It has a stage I put in, we have a grand piano in there, and it can seat 300 people. And so that explains some of the 15,000 square feet. With that as an event space and the house which I'm using as a showcase, I think that we have the right combination.
Commissioner Scow thinks that by recognizing more Clark County sites as historical designations in the future, it's a great way to sing the praises of our past.
I think we'll have more and more historical designations. We're so famous for building in tearing down and building again. So maybe this will help us to think more, what is there in our community that we'd like to save for our posterity?
And so this was his closet area.
For now, Mr. Ravenhill and his pooches reside in a thoroughly modern space which was once Liberace's closet. And he will continue to fine-tune the rest of the Liberace Mansion for others to enjoy.
I want to bring music back here. This is a house which there was a lot of celebrating in this house, and it's almost 15,000 square feet. And if the walls could talk, there would be many stories.